Hi, this is Phil. What I'd like to do in this last session is just talk about the different kinds of people that you'll find in the group and the way different people respond. Now, I doubt whether you'll have all of these in your group at the same time, but it can be helpful just to be aware of the kind of people we may have and the contribution they may make. Some will be very positive and we can try to maximize that. Others we want to try to downplay because it's not so helpful. Okay, we can have the onlooker, and this is the kind of person we do need to look out for because they're more of a passenger than a crew member, we could say. They just sit there and what we want to do is draw them out and draw them in as part of the whole group. But then the opposite is the monopolizer. These are the people that reserve the right to say anything they think, and sometimes without thinking. We do have those. We have people that process things differently, of course. We know that, the internal processor and the verbal processor. And therefore we need to allow that and accommodate that. But these are the people that can speak too much. And we want to try and encourage them not to. And it may mean talking to them fairly directly if this is the case. We want to look for the belittler. Hopefully you won't have this person in your group, but those who, through what they say, can minimize the contribution of others, and people who've shared, and for some people that may be a big thing, sharing in a group. They have their contribution put down. What we want to do is make sure if this happens there's a strong affirmation that counteracts that. And likewise, it may be important to talk to this person. They may not even be aware they do it. The wisecracker, this can be a real fun person to have in the group. These feel called to the Ministry of Humour, we could say. But of course it needs to be appropriate and not offensive. There's some humour that is a put down and is at the expense of other people, and so we want to guard against that. The hitchhiker, this is the person that kind of sits on the fence, sees which way the group is going, and then jumps on the bandwagon of that one. The problem here, of course, is that when we come to application, we want it to be personal and real, and not just part of a group. And so it can be helpful to just be aware of this kind of participant. The pleader. This is the person that feels led to share their burdens frequently. Of course, we want the group to be a place where people can share and a time of care and affirmation and prayer, supporting one another. But the truth is, some people are just high maintenance and can be very draining on the group because they are so taken up with issues. And so we do need to be sensitive that the group isn't hijacked by this kind of person, especially on a regular basis. It may need that they need support prayer separate from the group rather than be in the group and dominating the group. The sulker, hopefully you don't have this person in your group, but they're people who are negative, a bit like Eeyore, if you know about that. Always very negative and sulking. We want to stand against that in whatever way we can, really, because we don't want the group to be dragged down with negativity. Again, this person may need support and help outside of a group context. The proposer, these are great to have in a group because They're people that initiate ideas and actions, especially for a group to bond together at times other than a Bible study setting. And the kind of small groups that really work well, of course, are those where people are truly being connected in different ways. The encourager. We all want this person in our group, because it's not just you speaking out value of other people's contributions, but they see it as well, and they're able to affirm what other people say. So we do need to be this person. Hopefully there's more in your group. The clarifier. This is again a job that you need to be doing, but if others do this, it's fantastic. These are the ones are able to hear what's being said and maybe speak it back in a really clear and concise way to help summarize the thoughts and the direction that the group is going, the conclusions that are being formed in the group. And the analyzer. Now, recognizing that some people think through things first, are internal processes, it can be helpful to accommodate that and even talk about it. Recognize that some people think things through and others talk it through. And of course there's ways to accommodate this. I've mentioned already that you say we're going to have a few minutes just quiet reflection, and that will serve this kind of person. But then of course you can say talk it through with your neighbour or two people, and that gives people an opportunity to think their thoughts and to speak them out, and the verbal processors, they like that because they're able to get their thoughts in a row as well. And so you will have this kind of person in your group, almost certainly. The explorer. Here's a person who can move into different areas, think outside the box, and sometimes can come up with some things that are wacky, and you have to kind of rein them in, but sometimes can see some fantastic things and have great insights. The mediator. This is a person that doesn't like conflict, and if there's disagreements in the group, will try to somehow come up with a solution. Can be helpful, but at times may need to be guarded against, because we don't want to have a conclusion from the Bible study that suits everybody necessarily. We want to let the text speak for itself and come to something that is based on the text. But there may be this kind of person in the group as well. The synthesizer, a bit like the clarifier really, able to pull the pieces together from different ideas and different viewpoints and bring a great summary. This is a helpful person to be, and one that you should seek to be yourself.